tax day relief. And I'm not talking about getting relief on paying your taxes, but just tax day relief. I'm going to talk about that on this segment of The Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out The Gig Geezer, the returning visitor of The Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by, and if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Well, today is April 15, 2024, and for those of us who wait until the last minute to file our taxes, today is our deadline. So, I completed filing my taxes yesterday. In fact, I didn't start on them until yesterday morning, Sunday, April 14th. In fact, I'm looking at my envelopes now. In fact, what I'm doing is this envelope is for the state of South Carolina, and this envelope is for the IRS. Both of them have the same documents. It's just that one has a few more forms than the other. In fact, that's the whole point of just kind of sharing my experience on this particular segment of The Gig Geezer. I will say this up front: consult your tax professional when it comes to filing taxes and for tax advice. At least based on my experience, there were multiple forms that I had to complete for the federal return. For the state of South Carolina, there's only one form, as best as I know, that I had to fill out for the state of South Carolina. But since everything goes off of the feds, when you're a 1099 and you work apps and you work opportunities like I do and many others, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to keep up with. And the main things that you definitely have to keep up with throughout the year, depending on how and when you pay your taxes or file your taxes, or however way you're going to do things, the two things that you definitely have to keep up with throughout the year, I recommend, even though I said this is not tax advice though, but this is just common sense, what I'm sharing, are your expenses and your miles. You need to keep up with that however way you can, either by in a book, paper form, or with an Excel spreadsheet, or with the many apps that are out there. Your expenses, you need to keep up with it the same way. Now, what I found interesting this year for me though, and I can share this because it's not tax advice, for as many sources of income that I had, there were some situations in which I had to kind of call an audible, because, for example, I've uploaded segments on The Gig Geezer in which I share about my having done the Federal Express personal vehicle program, and like this particular segment of The Gig Geezer. Well, what I found interesting was that the contractor whom I dealt with, he sold his business, his contract. He sold his contract last fall. And so when I got in contact with him earlier this year for 1099, he replied. I noticed in the way he composed his reply, it was as if he had kind of distanced himself from me, and I'm thinking that, well, maybe it's just that he felt as if it was time to just part ways, because I dealt with him since 2020. Come to find out, he actually contacted me by text message from a different phone number, and it asked me to get in contact with him. Come to find out, the W-2 that he had, the W-2 that he sent to me for 2023 went to an old address, and I knew based on the address that he sent it to, it was going to come back to him, which it did. So he asked me for the best address to send it to. I sent it to him twice. I never saw the W-2 with that Federal Express situation. The way he had things set up, or at least the way Federal Express had him to set it up, everyone, you were a hybrid. You were technically a W-2, but you're also able to claim your miles as if you're 1099. He did not reimburse you for your miles. So that was a hybrid situation. So that's forced me, since I I don't know. I personally, I don't know how to recoup a W-2 if someone never sends one, or I have no way of. No, I guess you can contact the IRS. So or I don't know, but so what I did was I claimed the earnings that I'd kept up with as cash earned, so it counts in my total earnings. Kind of like when I bowl for money. Typically with a lot of high level scratch tournaments, you're gonna earn cash, and if you're really honest with what you do, you're gonna claim your cash earned. If you earn over a certain amount, like $600, depending on the tournament, then you get a 1099 statement. The other interesting thing was that I did not get earning statements and or a 1099 from these two apps. The first one was from Bungie. Interestingly, Bungie says that they will send you a 1099K if you do one or the other: earn over 20,000 and or complete over 200 orders last year. So that's 2023. Well, I didn't do either of that. So I had to go into the app and print out basically an item, the page in which it shows your earnings, in which you can set it up for a certain time period. So I set mine up from January 1 till December 31 of last year, and it shows the earnings amount according to Bungie. Then the other place was Instacart. Now, in years past, I got a 1099 statement from Instacart. Well, this year I got an email informing me that my 1099 statement is ready, and you're supposed to go to the Stripe portal. Well, I go to Stripe, it shows 2022 I can access, 2021 I can access, but I could not access 2023. So I had to go into the Instacart app in the earnings tab and basically take screenshots of my earnings for all of 2023. So that's why the IRS is going to have a nice little stack to go through in terms of my 1099 statements and 1099 and earnings statements. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, as long as you're reporting the shit, then you have no problems with the IRS. Now, again, since I say that this is all, I'm just sharing some of my experiences with filing taxes this year, and this goes back to the teaser in which I said tax relief. The relief for me is that I am sending this stuff off, and that I won't be late. Now, most of my time spent yesterday was tracking down all my earnings statements. I knew where they were. I knew that I had emails from just about all the places, but I had to go back and confirm to myself, or just double check that I checked off all the sources of income. In these individual cases with Bungie, Federal Express, and Instacart, I called the audible in terms of printing out the earnings statement, an earnings statement based on the app. So the relief was that I got all this done in about 4 hours. The actual calculation of things did not take me long, and the reason why it probably didn't take me long is when you do your taxes, when you've done your taxes, or you do taxes for as long as I have, you kind of know what you need to look for in terms of the forms, and you kind of know what you need to look for in terms of certain numbers to fill out in those respective forms. So I guess the curious question is going to be, well, am I getting any money back? No. Am I going to pay? Yes. And I'll just leave it at that. If you're a 1099, there are two ways. If you're a 1099, there's two ways that you can go about doing things. You can put back and pay taxes as you go, and that kind of bails you out of having to deal with keeping up with all your expenses. But then again, you're still going to have to file at the end of the year. Or you can do like I do and just keep a record of everything, and then file your stuff at the end of the year. The fact that And the other thing is that yeah, I may put back, but I'm putting back for what I'm probably going to owe at the end of the tax year. Again, this is not tax advice. I'm just sharing my experience for the 2023 tax year. So that's all I have to share. If you happen to like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm in with Lane as always. May your grind and may your hustle continue.